remember getting the call. We were camping down in Pedder Bay with the family, and the dispatcher called and said, "How would you like to train on the tractor tug?" I said, "Sure, that would be great, but I don't want to do it full time. I'm too young. I'll miss the other parts of it too much." And he said, "Yeah, that's fair enough, but I wasn't going to pass up the opportunity to learn something new and, the chance of moving up later on in life." And then as soon as I got on, I was just in love. Go home and just thoughts and dreams of it, and it took me a little bit more than I thought. But these ones are ASD drives. They're azimuth stern drives. There's two Rolls-Royce azimuth drives, one on each side. They turn 360 degrees. And the conventional tugs are just straight. You usually have a nozzle, and you can turn by either some are nozzles or you got rudders that turn. These are a lot more maneuverable and a lot more powerful, and just designed a lot more for ship berthing and barge work, and that there's no log work to be done. I remember bombing around my little tinny boat and never seeing a log tow or anything. I didn't know anything about them. The only thing I knew was my friend had, his dad had a company out of Ladysmith. They get us to come and do little odd jobs with and stuff like that. And that was all experience I had. And that was May 6, 2000 I started. It was construction most of my life. And then I was actually away in Vegas at climbing Red Rock for my brother's karting tournament. And my sister was trying to get me on the tugs. Her friend was a dispatcher down at Jones Marine. And I tried a little bit ago. Before that, I put my resume in, and it just didn't happen. And then she phoned me up. I just got back from Vegas, and she said, "Do you want a job on the tugboats?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And gave my construction crew 2 weeks notice, and then was dispatched on the Harkin 10 up in Fanny Bay, one guy off, one guy on, and then continued to tow from there. I didn't have a whole lot of experience, but the guys were good, and it's like every job, new job, you learn, and never looked back. There's a training program now that they give you 30 days to see how you progress. Didn't have that back then. It's just word of mouth kind of. How is he? Good. Hired. Everyone knows how your work ethic is, and if your mindset, and if you're capable or not. And you just kind of work your way into running the smaller boats. Like back then there was no non-ticketed vessels. The smaller ones didn't need a ticket for. And then I became mate after running the smaller ones. Got to do a trip on the Hurricane 10 as mate, and then you work your way up. And you needed back then 6 months continuous as an officer without flopping back and forth between deckhand and skipper or mate to get your seniority established. And I was close to getting my 6 months, and then it just work kind of fizzled out. I had to go back decking, so I had to start over again. And then I got close again, and we went on a strike in 07, and I worked up till then. It was so close to getting it, and then went on a strike. But I got paid as an officer, strike pay, and picketed as an officer, and it just got forwarded through the guild, so I got my seniority. And then in 08, I was in a bad quad accident, and I was off work for 11 months, and they just came out with the 150 Masters ticket then. And my friend called me up and says, "Hey, why don't you take that ticket? Why don't you go get your skipper's license?" I said, "Sure, that's a good idea." So it worked out perfect. And That was in '08, and got my ticket in '09, and then maybe partially through '09, I was full-time skipper. And then, just continued on and never looked back. We've had lots of good times, a lot of bad times. Just throughout the night, you're going across the Gulf with a log tow, and the weather puffs up, and just out of nowhere, your log tow breaks, and there's bundles just strewed about. It's not the best feeling. And going through Gabriel Pass, Dawes Narrows with the log tow is quite stressful sometimes. I've run the tow line off the drum on the Hustler 2. I just had put a defect in a couple days before about the brake not holding. We were coming after that was delivered to come to get fixed. And I remember we were waiting weather, and it came morning and the weather looked good, so I ran line from the aft station, set the brake, and then went up to the wheelhouse, and I looked back at the GPS, and all of a sudden it was showing 5.6 knots. And I was like, what the heck? So I saw the winch brake warning sign saying it was releasing, going off, and then by then I hit both throttles astern and came back, and it was right off the drum, hanging off the tow. And I've never had that happen before. Yeah, it's just like a winch like this, but it'll be on the stern, and it's a cable, not the pulley like that. And you have a threshold of how many wraps left on the drum where it'll hold with the winch brake. And once you get past that threshold, there's no holding it. And then all there is Crosby clips. They're just clamps that hold the end of the line to the winch, and that it'll hold the weight of the line, but not the drum free spooling. So it came right off. It was completely detached from the boat and hanging off our tow line, off the head end of the log tow. So it was quite a chore to get it back. We got it back on, and in a couple hours we were back underway, and everything was okay. The stress part for me is huge. I do miss the other parts of it, mostly the camaraderie and stuff, but the stress part I do not miss. And these ones are a lot of power, a lot of maneuverability, and it's a good job. It's fun. they're sitting on their bridge and they just have a radio and they just call aft tug, forward tug, or some like to call it by the name, and they just tell you push whatever increments, full, easy, minimum, and we have a line up each tractor tug, and then they'll either get you to back or to pull or push, and it's just relaying hopefully in time for you to maneuver into position to make their commands work. The more intricate the maneuvers they want you to do, the pilots I find are more interesting. Just the basic ones where you barely do anything, it's it's a little less, it's a little more boring. Some of the pilots just have different situations where they don't require as many maneuvers from us, and it's just kind of, you're just there for emotional support kind of thing. The best day on the water, that's just a beautiful, sunny, flat, calm day. And for me, is a busy day. Like you're not just a quick little call out. It's a good, 8-10 hour shift down to Crofton or something and back. Something you get to see some whales, some scenery. Just, I like it when there's a ton of vessels out here in the summertime and just nice calm. And then if you're going south, you get this, notice like the flood smell, and just early summer, late spring, it'll come up through Dodds and you can just smell the fresh ocean. It's just an amazing thing to see and feel and smell. You have your ups and downs, of course, and everybody has their days where you have to go to work and it's not the very nicest, but some days are just makes up for the bad ones. And the guys and the crew and the company, it's just a great company to work for. And I just love it. I just would never want anything different. My wife knows an older guy that runs a tug similar to the David and the Judy over in Vancouver. And I think he's 78. And he was texting me pictures and stuff and asking me, and he's saying he just loves it. He just doesn't want to leave. So I can see myself doing the same.